Okay guys, so welcome to the new video, and this interior, as you can see, must be reminding you something that you already know. Some of you might have this car already at home, some of you might have seen it a lot of times, might have driven it already. So this is the Hyundai, or as it should be spelled properly, Hyundai Tucson. So basically I only drove the plug-in variant of this car, the most powerful one with 265 horsepower, but I wanted to see how it handles without the excess weight of the battery in the back. So I asked the Hyundai in my country if it would be possible, and I got this diesel version of the Hyundai. So I'm going to take it for a trip, and well, we can just have a little bit of a drive in this and see what it does. So this car, as I will show you later on, this is the N-line spec, so it's kind of a top of the range model with sporty looks, which you will see later. And you also have these more sportier interior, so you have these red accents here and on the seats. Also, as you can see, these are like more of a sporty seats. You have the N badges on them, yeah. But the rest of the interior is as you would already as you already know it. You know, you have this central panel which is like touch capacitive. You have this wide screen here with Apple CarPlay connectivity. The Apple CarPlay in this car is not wireless. You need a wire, a cable, as I have at the moment. But it's good of course to have it, and it's working, as always, it's working reliable. Right, so this diesel, there is only one diesel to choose from. It's a 1.6. It has 136 horsepower, it has 320 Newton meters, and well, basically let's try the dynamics. I mean, if you put it into sports mode, it immediately is more alive. But of course, then it has this diesel character, you know. So when you're around up to 2,500 RPM, it's all right. But above from there, the acceleration is kind of vague, you know. So yeah, but as you can see, very easily I've come up to the normal speed on the motorway, which is good. And yeah, let's just drive. I have a 1 hour and 17 minutes remaining to my destination, so it's all right. And I still have just under the quarter of the tank. So when the fuel consumption has actually been very good. In the city it's just about 5 liters. Outside the city I haven't been much, but let's see, I'm going to see, but I think it's going to be under 5 liters. And here on the motorway, well, it's about 6.5 liters, yeah, so it's not the greatest. It has a 7-speed gearbox. Now I'm doing 130 and I'm doing 2,500 RPM. But maybe what I would be grateful is if it would have a lower RPM here on the motorway. I mean, you know, it should be a motorway cruiser, and you have the Newton meters mostly available in between 2,000 and 2,500, which I'm doing, but I think it should be more calmer on the motorway like this, you know. I think for a diesel, these RPM are quite high actually, you know. If this would be a cluster for the petrol engine, it would be like above 3,000 RPM, and here in the diesel it's 2.5, so I think it's quite high actually. I think it should be somewhere around 2,000, 2,100 RPM. It would be the best for the overall consumption of this vehicle, which is at the moment, as I'm doing the motorway speed, it's 6.6 liters on the motorway. Also here on the motorway, I have to say the ride is it's quite calm, you know. It's very quiet in here. You can hear some air from the mirrors and from the A-pillars. Those could be a little bit quieter, but from the suspension overall, it is very quiet. It's very refined. It feels very refined. So yeah, also the interior feels very fine. The seats, they are all right for an SUV. They are not somehow amazingly sporty, but they are okay. You also have the support for your back. They are, of course, in this outfit, they are electric, and the rear passengers, they also have this kind of adjustment, so they can move the front passenger if they don't have enough space in the back. Okay, so we also have an adaptive cruise control, but for that I'm going to have to turn on the lane assist. But yeah, now I have 123 kilometers set it up. So how it works? Let's see how the lane assist works. Yeah, it is keeping me just in the middle. It's doing it quite well. It's not going like from side to side. It's very nicely turning into this corner. Wow, so look what I found out, that this car has adaptive cruise control with lane assist, and you don't even need to hold the steering wheel. I haven't held it for like 2 minutes, and it still hasn't yet beeped or anything that I should you know, touch it. Wow, this is really good technology by Hyundai. I had a little bit of a problem are these buttons with which you change gears. The problem is that they don't always work the most reliably or the fastest. They don't have the best response, particularly in the city when you need to turn around or something. So I think this should be improved a little bit. But then of course in this car, in this top of the range model, I also have the climate control on the seat. They are also heated. I have all of these cameras, so if I turn it on now, I can look around me, what is happening behind me or around me. So yeah, this is a nice spec, and yeah, so I think overall it's pretty nice. I like the overall feel of the interior, you know, like it's like underneath it's not as tall as in other cars, and you have this central line that goes around the crew here. So yeah, that looks nice. Okay, so we just got off the motorway, and the average fuel consumption on the motorway stopped at 6.3 liter per 100 kilometers, and we've done 120 kilometers so far. So what I would say is that, I mean, you know, I would expect a lower number from the diesel engine, you know, and for sure it is connected with that this car is an SUV, and therefore the drag coefficient is higher. It's 0.31, I think, which is not bad, but you know, the car is tall, it pushes quite a lot of air, so there is a result on the motorway. 6.3, I think it could be doing a lot better. Now we're off the motorway, we can put it in a little bit of a bend here. There are some bends, but what I have to say about the suspension, look, there is some initial leanage when you get into the corner, but it's not as bad. Of course you expect some sort of roll in an SUV, so there is some roll, of course, but it's not as bad as I would expect. And even though suspension is comfortable, I would say it still puts quite a good feedback to me as a driver through the seat and also through the steering wheel. I can feel the surface of the road quite well, also the small little bumps. So I mean, it's never going to be as good as a hatchback in terms of drivability, but yeah, it changes way quite nicely for an SUV, you know. Okay, so I just stopped here just to show you, you know, how the car looks like from the outside, to go around. So you probably already know this design language, this little bit of a different front grille where you have the lights integrated into here. The main beams are integrated here. Here are the daytime running lights. So yeah, in this inline spec, it has kind of a sportier look with some like air things going through here and from here to make it more aerodynamic. And then you have some sporty details on the rear bumper, also on the roof. You have these, and of course, this is the rear side. You for sure already know how this car looks like. You have a fake diffuser here because it's looking sporty. What I like are these two proper exhaust pipes, which is nice. So, and as you can see, it's an HTRAC 4-wheel drive. The tailgate here is electrically open, but the car is not unlocked. So let's just unlock it. So yeah, it is electric. It's not the fastest tailgate to open, but once it's open, what you see is a pretty big luggage space here, and underneath you have like this sort of a drawer, and you have also a one socket in here and a few hooks around. And of course, if you want to put the seats down, it's this easy. Okay, so let me just close this, and if we now come to sit back into the rear, you can see there is this sunshade here, which is manually adjustable. And when you sit here, you really have a lot of space here. The incline of the seats is adjustable, as you can see. So I can lean to the back quite far. You have heated seats, of course. Here you have air conditioning in the back. You have two USB ports for charging. So yeah, all around, and also the central armrest with two cup holders. So in the back, it's quite all right. You know, I would say it's spacious enough. There is not a big hump in the floor. It's just like, yeah, it's not really tall. But in the plug-in hybrid, it's even smaller than this one. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. So yeah, and overall, this is the interior. I've been already talking about it. So yeah, that's just, I just wanted to show you around the car. You also have these nice wheels. Look at them, they're quite nice. They have the tires with the size of 235/50 R19 wheels. These are Michelin Primacy 4 tires, so they are not the top of the range Pilot Sports. But yeah, that's about it. You have some badges, you have some nice color options. Yeah, so this is it. I just wanted to show you around. So let me also show you the problem that I had with these buttons, okay? So imagine you're reversing like this, you're trying to turn around, and well, now it worked, but sometimes you just do like double beep and you need to press it again. So that's the problem with these buttons. Okay, so here are some of the bands. Let's put it into sports modes and let's see. Wow, okay, now let's go. I would actually say that the suspension is not, you know, what I like in comparison to the plug-in hybrid. It doesn't feel like it's going through the bumps, and it's like, you know, very bumpy, but also very, you know, soft. This feels like really so much lighter into the corners. You can just, you know, feel it. Of course, you have a diesel engine, so it is more understeery than you would have wanted. But overall, it's a much nicer driving experience than if you had a plug-in hybrid. That feels very hard on the steering wheel because there is a more than 200 kilograms difference in weight. This has 1660 kilos. The plug-in hybrid has over 1900 kilos. Let's see. Yeah, but honestly, in the corners, it doesn't really feel bad, you know. There is this, as I told, initial leaning, like here. But then it stops, you know. So I think the suspension in this car overall it's pretty good. Of course, you have multi-link in the back. Yeah, it feels direct. It feels nice. I like it. Do some overtaking. Yeah, the 136 horsepower is not the most, but yeah, look at this. Holds the line nice. Actually, the steering ratio, I would say, is pretty nice. I don't have to do a lot of turning into the corner. You know, it's just a very small amount, which is good. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. It's really much better. It is marginally better than the plug-in hybrid. Really, if you also want to drive with this family car, you can with this. Even though it's a diesel, it's not the best pulling car, but it's really all right in the corners. And if I just imagine that the petrol engine is lighter, so that it's lighter on the front, yeah, it actually is quite all right on an SUV. So yeah, good job Hyundai with this car. Nice package.